The record button's on. So
Oh,
yeah, I was looking for the pullback to this general area where our double zero and our trend line met. And remember, we were in this trade over here. Okay, so that's what I was looking at. That's why I picked that area, and I also looked at the lone soldier. So I picked an area just below that to let price pull into that area, but it didn't happen, uh, which is part of the game. And after that, I put a buy stop and a sell stop on either side, and the sell stop triggered. So I'm going to hold on to this because I would like to, if possible, if this thing comes back and triggers the buy stop, we'll have a hedge, then we can get into the whole hedging thing. But we were up as much as 10, 12 pips, I think. It's just this pair is going to be incredibly slow until we hear more about gold and Iran, or until the fundamentals kick in. All right. We had a watch list here the other day. I just want to take a quick look at that. I'll slide this out of the way, and let's open this up. And I do want to go into the daily setups, well, with the 21. But let's just run down this list and just see what these look like. We had a dollar chef wedge on the I didn't put I guess they were all dailies that we were doing. So let me just throw this in. Dollar Chef I believe it was out here, and I need to set up my profiles. So this looks promising right here for a decent long trade. All right, because it looks like we broke out from yesterday. We broke out, had our retest, and now we're off to the races. You see this retest. Here's our breakout here, and here's our retest. Actually did close just a hair below the line, but bounced off of our 21, so that's not bad. And this would have been our decent entry here. Let's see how far away we are. 39 pips. Not that's too much to jump on. What we can do then on this dollar chef is go down to let's say a 15-minute chart, and we'll look for a long entry. All right, which we don't have at the moment. Now on that long entry, we can use any of the other systems that we have to get into a long trade on the dollar chef, because the dollar may gain strength, should gain strength based on this thing with Iran, and that's what we want to take advantage of. But I don't see anything here on the 15. If I go to a 5, and we'll break this down a little bit more, no, the 5 is nothing there either. All right, so on dollar chef, uh, okay, I'm looking for entry long. Someone's making popcorn back there. Um, so we're looking for a long entry on Dollar Chef. Where was it?
That's
Right
it.
here.
That's that sound I commented about when or
Oh,
two
yeah, I
days ago.
know. um, Euro Chef. It's doing this damn thing again. I rebooted and did the whole bit. What the hell?
what'd you say about booty?
Yeah, maybe my computer needs a quick shot. Let's open this again. But you can see, going back to the Aussie Dollar Daily, some of these daily trades can take a while to really come about. So, bup, bup, bup. All right, looks like we're trying to make a
So
long entry here.
on the
Yeah, go ahead.
go back to the daily a minute on
On
this.
Aussie Dollar?
No, on Dollar Chef. because it really looks, I mean, look how many right about where price is now. Go back before the beginning of the wedge, look how many times it tapped along there.
Yeah.
And then it came down, went back up to there again. And now it's right back at about that level. Why wouldn't you think there was a lot of resistance right there? I mean, that's what I would.
I do think there's a lot of resistance right there, but you're looking at this level,
Yeah. Of course,
and,
if it
and we're above
closes
that level.
above it, if it closes above it, then that's one more validation of the wedge breakout, I suppose.
Oh, sure, without a doubt. I
But
don't doubt that at all. But
might
I'm
just
looking
be,
at this as being a solid level of resistance at one point, and now it looks like it could become support. So on my spreadsheet, that's the wedge on the U.S. On the dollar chef, and I'm looking for an entry, an incorrectly spelled entry, but I'm looking for an entry long, so that's on my watch list. So I'm not in it yet, but I'll come back to it and then see if there's a decent long trade here. All right, and ideally, again, I'd like to see it close above this level, come back, give a bit of a retest, and then we'll take that next leg up. All right. And if I squeeze this in, you can see that this is not an unusual area for price to have been. If I go out to a weekly, okay, I got to squeeze this in a little bit more, but you'll see from here to there, I mean, there's room there. And there's certainly pretty decent room up to here, 500 pips to there, to that the next swing high there on the weekly. Okay. Let's open this up. And again, I'm trying to follow the 21. So I've got a rising 21. I'm outside of my wedge, and my RSI is rising. And if I put my 2 points here on the RSI on the daily, that would be my breakout there at the close of, well, this would have been it actually right here. But I sometimes wait for the next candle. And again, this is one of those things you learn with time. With all these taps that Rob pointed out, I feel fairly confident that if this breaks out, it's going to keep going because they've tried and tried and tried. It's like taking an ice pick and chipping away at the ice, and eventually things flashing all the time is bugging me. So eventually when it breaks out, it should give us a decent run up. And it's in the back quarter of the wedge, which is the other thing I like. So we'll watch it, and I'll look for an entry on a lower time frame. But we need to let this candle close first, unless you wanted to be aggressive and enter it right now. Euro Chef, and let's squeeze this in a bit because we had a wedge here too. And wrong tool. I just want to review these. Okay, there we go. Wedge. And there, and this is not yet ready. All right, so we're still waiting on that. The next one on our list was Euro Yen, and Euro Yen had a wedge, which I'm assuming was something like this. And I'll set up my parameters later. And this is not quite done yet either. It's kind of an ugly wedge, but it's a wedge. Okay, so nothing much going on there. The overall bias on this would be short because that's the overall bias here at the moment, unless we break these highs here. All right, because we had a nice run up and we failed to make a new high right here. All right, so that's an indication that, this uptrend may be over and we may have a couple of legs to the downside. Dollar CAD, let's go to dollar CAD. Dollar CAD. I should rearrange these accordingly. Ah, damn, dollar CAD is gone. No, that can't be right. We had a wedge on dollar CAD and a weekly Oh, there's a cup and handle. Okay. That's the cup and handle on the weekly dollar CAD. And on the daily, we had a wedge. And let me go back to the line chart. I'm trying to see where that wedge was. Weekly cup and handle for sure we had it, but I don't see the wedge. We had a wedge drawn in here.
I don't think it was on your on your paper, was it? Wedge on that?
Yeah, cup and handle and daily wedge, unless it was this wedge. It could have been this, because this is
Oh,
today's candle.
oh yeah,
You got me? All right. And that makes sense, because these would be the two dominant highs right here. Let's pop this open a little bit. And again, I wasn't here. This is yesterday's candle. I wasn't here yesterday. So this looks like a decent entry uh, to the upside. Let's just see something here. This would be our break, and we've got all the markers for it. Where, let me see how much. Let me go down to a 1 hour chart. It's less than 10 pips away. I'll wrong one. Mm, you know what? This is how we could play this. Let's take this wedge and use this as an entry long only. You got me?
yeah.
Let's go back to the daily, because I'd only be looking to go long because we've got a rising 21. If I go out to the weekly, we got the cup and handle, and we did that projection on the cup and handle. The cup and handle's got some nice room up here once we close above this level. All right. Uh, which I believe we did. Let's put this in here. Let's open up the candles. And you see with the daily, you really have plenty of time to really look and check things out. So that's where that should be. And we're right where we should be. Okay. So if we get a close above this level, then we're really off to the races. Does everyone see that?
Yep.
I like this. And now we did get a close above the level on the daily. I wanted to get into this. Let's get this out of the way. Get this out of the way. And from our entry to where we are now is about 12 pips, and our stop based on the daily chart would be about 200. I don't like those odds at all. Um, so I'll wait for an entry on a lower time frame on this. Okay, and this is the dollar CAD. Okay, looking for entry long. All right, let's come back to this. This is the 1 hour. Again, we've got this whole thing going on here. All right, it's probably a 4 hour price trap. And that's exactly what we have. 4 hour price trap on the, and that's a nice one too, nice size. So we could get a pullback down to here to retest and then take off. So that looks really good. So dollar CAD, I just want to underline this because I want to come back to it. And the Euro Chef wedge, I think, was the other one. Let's go back to that. No, that's not ready yet. Euro Yen wedge. One of these was pretty close. Nope, neither one. Okay. Dollar Chef, we're looking for a long entry. Okay, yep, Dollar Chef. So I'm going to underline Dollar Chef because those look pretty good. Okay, so let's go Dollar Yen. I didn't turn off the... My phone. Okay, so dollar yen, we had a wedge breakout on dollar yen. And I'm assuming that that was this. Yeah. And put our candles back. Okay, so we missed an opportunity on this because our entry should be right above this candle. All right, and how far has it gone? It's gone 40 pips already. Um, you know what? I'll look for an entry long on that on a lower time frame. Because this should give us a bit of a pullback with 5 candles. You know, we had a nice run. Looking for entry long. Yes, I know it's long. That's Stalin. Yeah. Sorry for all the kerfumptering and talking to myself, but this is what I. Pound Chef should be similar. Pound Chef, we just had a breakout also. God, dog, I hate when I miss a day like that. And again, the same situation. You look at all these taps like an ice pick, ice pick, ice pick, and now we had this close above. Shoot, and we had our trend line break. Everything lined up. Everything lined up perfectly. Match that up right here. And we are really in a good situation here with this also. Let's go to a lower time frame and see if there's an entry there. We have to wait for a little bit of a pullback though on that daily. No, nothing there. Okay, not a clean entry anyway. So this is good. We'll wait for maybe wait another day for a pullback or till we get a black candle, and then we'll start hunting for long trades on that. That's set up quite nicely. Yeah. All right, and the last one was Aussie CAD. And let's just go back here. Any questions on anything that I'm looking at the moment? Okay. And this was our Aussie
Hello?
CAD. Yes.
I have a question in the box.
Okay. And that is Nancy?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Nancy.
Yeah, the question in the box is how do we, as a group together, watch out for all these breakouts? What can we do? What's the way around it?
Can we what?
Find a way of catching all the breakouts.
Well, what you do, right? Well, what you could do is once we have the list, you guys can check on your own. And I think I mentioned in the video to take the entries on demo. Okay, just to practice, the routine. Take the entry on demo because because of everyone being in different parts of the world, someone will catch it simply because it's a more convenient time for them. All right.
I know. So when does a new Skype room start to function? Maybe that might be a place where when somebody spots one and then just.
Yeah. Well, this afternoon, that's one of my projects is the Skype room and the YouTube room to make the YouTube room private and make the and get the new Skype room structured the right way. Now, what I used to do with another group I was teaching, everyone had the investor password to this account.
Okay.
And what I would do is I would enter a trade and then, or I would assign a pair to someone. So for instance, let's go to the Dollar Chef. So what I would do on this Dollar Chef, I would assign this wedge to Rob or Phil, and that would be their job to watch it and then get into the trade and all that. So we could do something like that also,
Okay.
depending on where you are in the world and what time zone works for you.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah.
So our three main pairs here for the wedge setups are the Dollar Chef. Um, why are my eyes not cooperating today? Oh, there it is. Dollar Chef. Okay, and the Dollar CAD. I just want to put these up at the top of the list. And you can monitor these on your own. Dollar Chef, Dollar CAD, and Dollar Yen was the last one. So these are the three pairs that we're looking at. And you'll notice that they all have the dollar as the base pair.
Yeah.
So that's a clear indication of the possible dollar strength with this deal with Iran. Because it'll ease some of the fears here about that region, and Iran's oil is very it comes out of the ground in such a way that it needs one less step in the refining process. So it's very, very much sought after. And if they're allowed to pump oil as part of the sanctions removal, that's definitely going to have an effect on oil prices and bring.
I didn't know that. Is it the sulfur content is lower or something?
Yeah, I don't remember. Someone did explain it to me in detail, and I just can't recall at the moment. But apparently their oil is very much sought after because you don't need as much work to get it from out of the ground into a gas pump or for other applications.
I wonder what the per gallon cost is in Iran for the consumers.
Good question. I don't know.
But it's cheap. I know in who's that country in South America that they hate us?
The hell?
I'm sorry, never mind.
No. Go ahead. I hit Control All, and it brought up the damn stochastics indicator. I was trying to get rid of all these objects so we can go to the next. Let me do that again. See what happens. I'll be damned. Okay. Let's just close this. Close that, and I'll go to my objects. All right, we'll get rid of all these lines on the chart. All right, so the only thing that we're looking at the moment now are the this setup. So at the end of business yesterday, this would have been a decent setup to have an order in one tick. Oh, I'm sorry, at the high of this candle plus the spread. Let's open this up. That would have been a very, very decent entry right here. When we have our rising 21. All right. Now we're going to run down these charts just using this. Now this trade is gone. We can't do much about it. If we see a trade where the current candle is inside yesterday's candle, we can still place a pending order above or below. All right. And where are we here? And this is already moved 29 pips. I hate to miss these, but that's Dollar Chef. Let's look at Dollar CAD. Now here, Dollar CAD, because we're still on the inside of this bar and we haven't broken yesterday's high, we could certainly put a pending order at that high plus the spread. And I need to put my oh no, that's not what it is. Let me just see what this price is here. This is 295.75. That's another interesting thing. This could end up being a warning candle. 295.7. I'm going to go here and get the number. for the high is 295.72. So, and what I did is I'm using a crosshair, but I'm looking at the bottom of the chart in this area to get the actual high. There's no numbers in here now because I don't have the crosshair up. When I put the crosshair up, you'll see that this will propagate, okay? And I'm looking at the high is 295.72, and I'll add a 3-pip spread, 295.75. All right? So new order, pending, and buy stop, and at price.
Buy stop, not sell stop.
Oh boy, thank you. I see you guys know me all too well. 1.29750, I think it was. 1.29750. All right, and I still have to get that now. That's a lot more than 3 pips, it looks like. All right, let me see what I did wrong here. Let me take the high. Is 1.29. Oh, 29575 is what I did wrong. So let's modify this order. Where is it? Buy stop 1 point. Yeah. Oh. Modify. And what was my number again? 1.29575. So 1.29. Oh, I had this completely wrong. This is why I copy and paste. There we go. So that's our order right there. All right. I don't have a stop put in here yet. I want to let the order kick in. Because this is so such a large candle, I'll take the middle of the candle as a stop and look for a round number. So 1.28200. Let's go back and modify again. 1.28200. And stop would be 1.28200 and modify. Okay. So that's in the middle of that candle. That's still that's in case of an emergency, some bizarre news event or something like that. We're still dealing with $1 a pip. All right. Now, when this kicks in and takes off, and it may take a couple of days, I can slide this up pretty easily. I'll leave my take profit open. All right. Let's get rid of that. Let's go down to dollar yen. This is gone also. This is where our entry should be right there, and that's already 20 pips gone. That's too far gone for me. If you're more aggressive, you could certainly jump on it. This was yesterday's. Oh, this is a beauty. This is what, pound dollar? So here is yesterday's candle was a doji, and we have we're above the 21, slightly rising 21, so we can put an order here at one. Oh, let me just do it this way. Look at the bottom. The high is 1.56746. I'll add 3 pips will make it 49. So 1.56750. All right, 1.56750. So new order, pound dollar, 1.56750 pending order. Buy stop, 1.56750. 1.56750. So it's like a 4 pip spread, but daily chart's not that big a deal. Okay. Now in this case, I'm going to put my stop right below the doji, which is also right below the moving average. And let's pick a nice round number here. That's 55. I'm going to go with 55.90. Look good. 1.55590 for the stop. 1.55590 for the stop on the pound dollar. Where's the order? Oh, okay. Modify. And what did I say that was? 1.5, 1.55. Oh, I need to start drinking again. 1.55720 is the stop loss. Okay, so we're looking at 1.55720 and modify. All right, we're already tapping it. Now, this may take a couple of days to come to fruition, but once this breaks in, generally price won't come back. Now, again, no one can predict everything in the market, but that is what happens most of the time. Okay, so that's pretty good. Let's look at Aussie dollar, and oh no, we've got this whole daily thing on the Aussie dollar. I don't want to confuse anything with that. Let's go down the list again to New Zealand dollar. That's gone already because this was yesterday's candle, and this would have been, it's a bit of a large candle for what I normally like to do. If this candle were a little smaller, that would have been a great trade. Like any of these would have been outstanding trades. But again, if you see the premise, that's already 80 pips. That was nice. And that's from 5 o'clock last night. Oh God, this is my wife's medicine. Okay, I gotta take this call. Just give me a second. Good afternoon. This is her husband. She's resting at the moment. I can't help you though. Doing well. Is this about her delivery? Yes. Lewis Cooper. Sure. DOB is 12455. Shipping address is 37 Kyle, KYLE, 37 Kyle Court, Staten Island, New York, 103. It might be Heinz Cooper on the paper. HINES hyphen COO. I think two. I'm not near the refrigerator, but I believe it's two. That would be more than convenient. That would be perfect. No, no, none whatsoever. Yes, no returns on any medication. No, the delivery man knows the routine. No, everything's pretty stable at the moment. Nope, you've been very helpful. Okay, you are. Okay, I apologize for that, guys. My wife takes a special brand of medicine, and we get it. It's delivered here once a month, and they always call to double check and confirm the delivery. Um, so again, as you see, we have a nicely sloping uh, 21 moving average. And by the way, if you want to know how to really measure this slope, or how to get a bead on when you've got a decent slope, you can put your crosshair in like this. I'll just draw a simple cross like that. And if this were a clock face, this would be roughly about 4 o'clock, somewhere between 3 and 4. This angle like this, when you have a nice strong angle like that, that's when you can really jump on a lot of these candles. Okay, and as I said, this candle would have been a bit much for me, but with this slope, if you wanted to be aggressive, you could take this trade, reduce your lot size, and then jump on board. All right. Let's go down to Aussie New Zealand. This is gone already. This was yesterday's candle. Wow, and a fresh close above the. Anyway, fresh close above the. I gotta stop beating myself up. Fresh close above the that daily candle, and this is probably a decent. Oh boy, 160 pips. Euro dollar. This is gone already, but this would have been again a nice slope. And if we look at our angle on the slope, crosshair, look at our angle on the slope. That's a nice angle. It cuts into like about a 45-degree, not quite, but you understand the premise. If this were a watch face, you want to have that nice sloping angle about 4-ish, 430-ish. And our entry would be 1 pip below here, and that was 66 pips. Here's a good one we can use. We're still looking for a breakout on this, on the wedge, on a higher time frame. But you know what? We still can actually put an order below this because this candle is still inside, and we have a downward sloping moving average. We don't have a steep slope on it yet, but it is downward sloping. So let's take this one also. And this is 103953 and 103955. I'm thinking. No, let me go. No, 1030. 103950. I'll do a 3-pip spread. 103950. So new order. Sell stop pending. 1030. I forgot the number. 103950. Okay, so okay, let me make sure I didn't leave out a decimal here. 103950. 103950. All right, place invalid. Okay, what did I do wrong?
You forgot the 0.
Oh, yeah. There we go. All right, that's good. And in this case, I will bring the stop on this 50 pips out to the high. That's yeah, I can live with that. All right. And this stop would be at 1045. 104520. Okay. So 104520. And Euro Chef, my stop is 104520. Modifier delete. Now, why is it doing that? I hit the wrong thing probably. 104520. Modify.
Yeah, you modifier delete, so just put in your stop loss.
Oh, okay. For some reason it looks different. Okay, so okay.
104520.
Modify. Okay, good. So we're good there. Okay, and these are all dollar a pip. I have to fix let me make a note. I got to look at the trade copier thing too. That's another issue. Trade, because I could be making these damn pips. Okay, let's take a look at Euro Pound. That's gone. And Euro Pound pays, I haven't traded it in a while, but I think it's paying like, what, $17 a pip now?
Something like that.
Yeah. Pound Yen. Pound Yen is gone. We actually traded above the high. You see that? But as you can tell, you know what's about to happen here. You see each one of these candles has gotten successively smaller.
Hmm.
All right. So I'm expecting a turnaround here.
So
And
would you put in a sell below the previous candle?
well, again, with this, you don't trade against this 21.
Oh, okay.
You wait. You want the highest probability trade, you simply wait. And we have plenty of other trades. You got me?
Mhm.
You don't have to guess and start, trying to be a typical guy. Hate to say it that way. Where I gotta, I have to be right. And no, the key is to get it right. Again, I want to show you if I put my crosshair here, okay? If this were a clock face, this would be roughly 2-ish, 230,
Hmm.
that handle, okay? So most of these candles could have produced some pretty decent trades, all right? And in the case of these dojis, I generally like to go to the prior swing low as long as it's within my money management. You got me? Now that's a bit much for me, but I would probably put it here. Now, again, we're dealing with daily charts, so people would think these two wicks would have stopped us out. But remember, your entry is going to be a tick above that high. So this is where your entry is, and you'll see that all of this stuff happened already. So if my stop is down here, I'm very, very safe from this point on, except for these guys, but you get the idea. Okay? Let's look at Euro Yen. That's gone. Wow, and that was a great candle too. That was a nice small candle that I like, and that was 50 pips. Again, it doesn't look like much, but we're on a daily chart, and you can rack up 3 or 4 of these to get 20, 30 pips on each one and just shut them down for the day. This one's gone. We already traded below, and I personally don't chase the trade. Pound Chef, that's gone. That was, this candle here, a couple of ticks above that. That was probably 30, 40 pips. Yeah, about 40 pips already. Euro Aussie. Okay, that's, we could put a pending order above this high right here. Okay, now this may give us a pullback, but wouldn't matter because if we don't get triggered into a trade, we can't lose anything either. You follow that? This was yesterday's candle. We have a rising 21. I could put a pending order right above that. It may take a week for this trade to come about. All right, so let's see. This is 49, so 50 would be the entry. Wait a minute, 49, 49, 120. 49, okay, 1.49, 100. New order, pending. This is a buy stop. 1.49, 100, I said, right? Yeah. 1.49, 100. There we go. That'll work. And I'll bring my stop to these two guys right here. And let's see how much that is. Oh, that's kind of a heavy stop. But I'll put it there for now, and then when the trade kicks in, I can move it up pretty quickly. And let's get I saw a nice number, 1.47650. 1.47650. 1.47650. 1.47650. Okay, that's great. All right, I think we've got enough. Now, again, this is why I use a $500 limit on the dailies, because I may have 3 or 4 trades in, and as long as I keep my stops under 100 pips, I can take 5 of these. And if all 5 don't pan out, I'm still within my risk parameters. Do you follow that?
Yeah.
All right. And then I can really aggressively scale in later. EuroCAD. Here's one. This is the daily candle. We did not pierce this. We have a rising 21. I would prefer this to be a smaller candle, but I will put a... now, what I'm not doing here, I'm just showing you how I look at the order process, by the way. What I'm not doing at the moment is going out to the weeklies and checking to see if there's any major support or resistance, or that kind of stuff. I'm just showing you the process of putting the orders together. All right. And this is 1.419. Let me see. 1.41900 looks good. 1.41900. Okay, so it's a buy stop. 1.41900. 1.419. I know I am making these mistakes because I'm rushing because I want to get it all done. When I'm by myself, I can really take my time. I write it on the Word doc and just copy and paste. All right, and my stop loss in this case, I'm going to put right here across these guys. Okay, and that'd be a relatively tight stop, about 50, 60 pips. And what I'm looking for here, actually, just because of how my brain is, I look for a decent round number that I can remember. 1.41340. Okay. 1.41340. Is that what I said?
Yes.
1.41340. There we go. Okay. So I think that is pretty good for the moment. Then I can always come back and double check. And depending on what you see, if you're up, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's enough trades to sit on at the moment. And lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, that's enough trades to sit on are the 5. Now, what I want to do is keep all of these together. Okay. Oh, this is that Aussie dollar. No, so we have room for one more trade. Oh, this is the Aussie dollar trade. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We have room to add one more. All right. I didn't set up the separate account. Let's look at Aussie CAD. Okay, that's, wow, boy, we're right there. How is it? Less than 20 pips. That's only 7 pips. I could do a market order here on this one. But this is going to pull back. I'll wait on this because this is 4 candles deep. This is going to give me a pullback. So I won't jump on that just this minute. Aussie yen. Ah, shoot. That would have been it. It's already tagged it below. I don't want to chase it. CAD yen. Ah, here we go. All right. So CAD yen, we've got 95.535 is where I'll put it. Let's look at the low here. The low is 95.547. So I'll go 7 pip spread, 95.540. So instant execution, pending order, sell stop, and 95, uh,
540.
yeah, 95,540. And is that just a straight 95? It's
Yeah.
yeah, 95.540. Okay, so we've got nine, oop, 95.540. Oh, that's a new one. 95.540. And now this stop, I'm going to go right to this lone soldier here, right up under there, this guy. And that is 96 110 I'll do. Let's bring this up 96 110, 96.110. Modifier delete and 96 dot 96.10.
110. Oh, well, that's close enough.
Yeah, how the hell? Yeah, you're right. 96.110. Did it must have been in there already? Maybe I just no, but that's not what. You see that?
See what?
96.10. Oh yeah, it was right. It was right. All right. So Euro Chef. Let's take a look at Euro Chef. It looks like it's trying to make a. Yeah, it's getting close to our entry price, and as you guys know, with MetaTrader 4, this lights up green because we're within a few pips of our entry. So now we've got a few things that we can keep an eye on. Okay. I don't know if you guys copied any of these,
Yeah, I
but
did.
yeah, you can copy them into a demo, and then we can play with them and monitor them. Uh, Once you're up 20, 30 pips, it's good to move your stop up dramatically. You can either move it up to break even. So the worst that can happen is a flat trade, or you can move it up to break even plus the spread. So at least you pick up a couple of pips. You know, you can get the 3 or 4 pips on the spread back, that kind of thing. But, we don't necessarily pay spread out of our account balance. So we're relatively safe there. All right.
Okay,
Go ahead.
yeah, I've got most of those. How many do you have there? Like 7?
6. It should be 6.
So
Uh,
I've got a
2,
screenshot, and
3,
I've got
4,
one copy.
5, 6. Oh yeah, there would be 7 counting this Aussie dollar.
Yeah, so I'll put the numbers in the newer Skype room.
Oh, okay. Okay. Um, all right. Any questions on how I did this or what my logic was? Um, or any observations? Does anyone want me to go back and cover something or explain something?
I'd like to think it's based on the moving average to determine the direction and placing the trades people so above or below the prices we're placing the orders on. Is that right?
Your voice fades in and out, Nancy. But what we're doing is we're using the 21 moving average. Okay.
Yeah.
I prefer the 18, but the way I learned this was a 21, so I'll just stick with that. And what we want to do is you'd like to look for a nice slope like this already
Okay.
established. Okay. And then what you're looking for are moderate sized candles, medium sized candles on that day. And then you would like to place a pending order below the low of that candle. Now, this works very well in conjunction with the thinking behind the 1889, where if this were our trend line, you'd want to have a pending order below this candle. You see that?
Yeah.
All right. And in even the pending order below here, remember this could take a couple of days for price to come back to this candle, which is what it did. Same thing
By
here.
which time I'm already out.
What was that?
By which time I'm already out.
Oh, okay. So you see, you can put the pending order below here, below here, below here, and you see it took a few days for every one of these to come to fruition, but they ended up being pretty decent trades. Okay. Now, while we're on that topic, let me find a pair that's got a. Oh, this is the chef. So I want to get off of this because it like distorts everything. Let's take a look at a pair that we're not in. New Zealand yen. I don't think we're in a New Zealand yen trade, right? No. Okay, good. So let's take a look at New Zealand yen, and I'll talk a little bit just about the scaling in process. So here we've got that nice slope we're looking at, and we place our pending order below this guy or below this guy, let's say. All right, right below this guy. So we get triggered. Yeah. If I go too fast, someone just slow me down, okay? So we go in below here. All right. So we're in the trade on this candle. Did someone have a question?
No.
Okay. So we're in below this candle. So from this point, we're short. Okay, we're short from that point. Now, there are a couple of different methods for scaling in. Once you have this is well established, what you could do is there are a couple of ways to look at this. Let me just pick the simplest one first. So once we're already in this, okay, on your first pullback, like that, on the break of the trend line, you can scale in. You can add a piece to that trade. Okay?
Okay.
So on your first pullback, you can add another 0.1. That's another way of doing it. So you'd add a 0.1 here. You would add a 0.1 here. And you would add a 0.1 here. And we'll talk about exits in a minute. Now, the key with the scaling in is what you would like to do is to have one central take profit point out here. So this trade will have a take profit of this level. This trade will have the same exact take profit. This trade will have the same exact take profit. This way, if you're not around, everything closes together here. And what you end up with is a move that in essence was a 500 pip move, but you picked up 500 pips on this position, 400 pips on this position, 150 pips on this one. So 500, 400 is 900, and 150. So you picked up 1,000 pips out of a 500 pip move. Okay, now that's the way I prefer to do it, is to have a central take profit point out there. And the entire time you're never risking an exorbitant amount of money. Depending on how many pips are in here from here to there, in many cases, you'll earn enough. Like, see, we earned 100 pips there. That's enough to add a 0.1 because you're using their money now. Do you understand that?
Mm.
And then we come down here. This was 200 pips. So you've gained 200 pips from here to here, and you've gained 300 pips. You've gained 500 pips between these two spots. So you can add another one here. And again, you're using their money, not your money. Do you follow me? You're taking the proceeds. Now, remember, you're using unrealized profits in order to scale into this trade. And that's a brief explanation. We will get into this a bit later in detail. I'll just touch briefly on exits, and then tomorrow I wanted to talk about the channels. That was
hey Lou, before you move on.
Yeah.
So you're saying that your initial entry was up at the first, right? That was your initial entry.
Yeah, wait. Let me give you control. If I'm going too fast or if anyone's not sure, please tell me. I will go over this again tomorrow. Go ahead, Andre.
Cool. So your initial entry was here,
hmm
and then I shouldn't have done that. And then you roll it down to here. There was an initial pullback. Your stop loss was up here.
Correct.
So your initial stop loss is
Correct.
your initial entry. Now, as you're coming down here, there was a pullback. It didn't hit your stop loss, and so you scaled in by adding one more pip, one more lot,
Correct.
and you did that here. Or you did that, yeah, where did you add the
Well,
next?
on the 1889, you do it at the open of this black candle.
Okay, so you added one here. So now, so you started off with, let's say, I don't know, one lot,
Right.
and then you added on a second lot here. It came down here. Again, your break stop loss is here.
Correct.
It comes down to here. It pulls back. It doesn't knock you out. You added another here from the
Correct.
1889.
hmm
And you would here. So did this get triggered? Because no, if you got in here, you put your stop loss here.
Correct.
So then you would still be in it as of today.
Yes. If I had a different take profit than this line, I just picked this because I saw all four of these points sitting here,
Right.
and I just
Okay,
said,
so that was your take profit. Okay.
no, I don't see these in real time. You got what I mean? I don't know what's out there in real time. So I'll give you an example. If
Right.
I wanted to pick a profit point on this, let me just do that exercise for a minute. With these, my profit point would be here first. See that lone soldier?
hmm
It's a place where price has been before. All right, and we've got like a big 1, 2, 3 here. You see, we got the downtrend thingy going on.
hmm
Let me squeeze this in. Then my take profit point number 2 would be right here, this lone soldier. Do you see that, Andre?
Okay. hmm
On these longer term charts, these lone soldiers are really, really something to deal with. They're nice. They're quite nice. So that would be my second take profit. So if I entered up here, I'd say, okay, I want to exit all the trades right here at the same take profit point.
Gotcha.
Did that answer your question?
hmm
All right, let me show you another way to scale in. WD-40.
Oh
yeah.
I was just
Okay.
thinking.
The conservative way to scale in would be to let price drop, allow it to make the pullback, and then put a pending order. Let's say you can't be at the computer, but you want to take advantage of these, you won't be here. I'm sorry, let me slow down. You allow the pullback. Now, you don't know if you're going to be here to place this entry. So what you do is put a pending order one tick below the low of the pullback. You see that? These you'll see. But gee, I don't know if I'm going to be here for this. I want to get a good entry, whatever the story is. Then you put a pending order there. You got me?
Yeah.
Now, the other way of doing this is to only scale in once you break the old low. So you would have a scale in order here. You would have a scale in order right there. You'd have another scale in order down here. If we close below, now this scale in order would have been triggered right here. You follow me?
Hmm.
And that's if you're not going to be around,
Yeah.
but you already see the pullback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to add to this, but I don't know if I'm going to be here for the trade. Then you can put a pending order in here. All right, if you want it to be as safe as possible. Because
Okay.
generally when you break a prior low, price doesn't come anywhere near that old high. All right, as you can see here, when we broke these lows right in here, price never came back to this old high. All right, same thing here. We broke the low right here, and these prices never came anywhere near that old high again. So that's another relatively simple way of adding into the trade, staying on the native chart. No, no, I'm not talking about scale. I'm not talking about scalper trades or anything like that. I'm just trying to keep it simple because, as I said, when I was still working in the construction business, I only had that couple of hours when I came home, and I would set things up like this, go to sleep, come back the next day, and see what I had. And as long as I had this nice slope, or if I caught like that first pullback after this slope starts to kick in, the trades are usually pretty good. All right. And you're not going to win every trade. I'm looking at 70% on this. And when you come in, you may have a profit target of, let's say, 100 pips, but you could be, I'll give you an example of how sometimes you have to think things through a bit. So you're short here, right? Okay, well, this doesn't have a good setup on it. Okay, here we go. You're short here. Okay, you come home, wow, I'm up like 60 pips, but you're 1, 2, 3, 4 candles deep. There's a high likelihood that there could be a pullback. So you could say, you know what? I'm not going to take that ride. I'll take my 40 pips and wait for another trade. Now this one didn't pull back, but you understand the logic in it. Or like this trade, 4 candles deep. You know what? And let's just take this as an example. Now you're up 200, actually 300 pips, let's say. And in your 4 candles deep, you're likely to get a pullback. And if you remember from the pullback lessons, this pullback is likely to go to this little lone soldier guy right here, which is what it did. See that? So from this 300 pips, it could pull back half of that. Now, if you're willing to take that ride, that's fine. If not, you could just take your 300 and walk away. Do you understand that? So,
Yes. Hey, Lou.
yes.
Here's a question. Does this platform have a trailing stop that if you get to a point where you said this is the point I want to be, the trailing stop basically does a slinky every time it goes down X amount of pips. The trailing stop automatically moves
Yeah.
X amount of pips down. So
This platform has a trailing stop, and I don't know about the new build, but the trailing stop on this used to be a ratcheting trailing stop, meaning if I set it for 10 pips, then price would have to move 10 pips, and then it would move up. Then price has to move another 10 pips, and then it would have to move up.
Right.
No, that's not the way it works.
Not on
Once
this
Once
NT4?
it engages, it follows tick by tick.
Oh, it does now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I said. I don't know about the new build, and I have a separate tool that I use for that. A
Yeah.
trade
But
manager anyway.
wouldn't that be a better way of doing it this way? If you can't follow it, then you already said this is my line in the sand, but that line in the sand can actually get better if the price moves. Like this case, you weren't there and it kept going down, and your trailing stop basically ratcheted 10 pips away. Because, like you said, a ratcheting trailing stop would probably be better than a tick for tick trailing stop, because at least it moves your trailing stop and still give you some flexibility for it to come against you a few pips.
Yeah, I completely agree. It depends on the level of trailing stop and what your internal organs do when you see price go against you. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
but I mean,
saying?
if you already got to a point where you were ready to come out, at that point you were saying, I don't know if I still have the mouse, you were saying, you know what, this is what my price is out here. If I put a trailing stop here, then if the price this is where you're ready to get out. And now if the price goes in your favor 10 pips and then comes back, your trailing stop doesn't move. But it goes to that 11th pip, your trailing stop comes right down here, and if the price
That's
does
a
this,
ratchet.
comes back up,
Right.
yeah,
That's a
you
ratchet
made
trailing stop.
an additional, which is better. And plus, it's already bested your original, this was my original line in the sand move,
Right. Now,
right?
the
So,
reason I didn't get into the trailing stops is that part of what I try to do with everything is use basic stuff that you can find on any broker anywhere. All brokers may not have a trailing stop, or they all may work differently. So I kind of stay away from that at this point in time in teaching this. But what you're saying is absolutely correct. And I do have a separate EA that handles the trailing stops and all that.
okay.
But if you were to do this manually, you know, that would be the approach.
Cool.
You follow me? So I'm
Yeah.
only showing just the manual with no gimmicks, no bells and whistles, no robots, and none of the other stuff. All right? Because once you can do this manually, then you'll have a better understanding of how you want to use the extra tools. And as I said, all brokers have different trailing stops that work differently and all that other stuff. So like I said, you'll come back at the end of the day and you can make an assessment as to what you want to do based on what you see in price action. All right. So your question was valid and you answered your own question correctly. All right. And thanks, Daryl, for that. I haven't used the MT4 trailing stop in a long, long time because it used to only be a ratchet. In fact, you see here, it always had the ratcheting setup. Now, oh, this is kind of cool. Oh, interesting. So you can set this now. I know they didn't have this in 509. So now you can set this to 1 pip if you wanted. Oh, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, but that's, you have to add a 0 because that's 1.5.
Oh, this is 1.5 pip. Okay, well, I haven't played with it. Maybe I'll throw it on one pair or something and just see how it works.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions on this? How we look at this? Remember, you can use your crosshair, and if you already see a nice steep angle, like if we were right here, let's do the F12. If we're right here, and I see this nice steep angle like this, I may be more likely to place a trade under this candle because this is already established. You got me? It's already running, and we've got a 3-candle pullback. We got the whole shebang here. I would be more likely to place a trade under that candle. All right. Just so you see. And let me just roll down here and see what we're doing. All right, so nothing is kicked in, and this Aussie dollar is still doing its thing. I'm just going to leave this until it either gives me profit or gives me the hedge, one of the two. Now we can look at some other pairs. Like I said, I like to stick within my money management. Now, a couple of things here that are a little bit advanced when you want to pay attention to your cross pairs. So, for instance, if I look at this, this is that Aussie dollar, so I'll leave that alone. That's a separate thing altogether. So here, if you see that you got 3 euro trades, they should all be going the same way. You got me? So here I have one is going the opposite way, so I can expect that one of these will cancel each other out. You follow what I'm saying? Unless there's dramatic news on the cross pair. So if I had 2 CAD pairs, ideally they should both be going the same way. They should both be sell stops.
Your Aussie trades don't have a stop loss.
That's the hedge. This Aussie trade.
Oh.
That's the 1 hour. Yeah, let me go back to that just to explain that. What I have on the Aussie, and on this broker is international broker, so I can do this. Just so you see. You see I have a buy stop here at the 00. Yeah. That becomes my stop loss and my new entry order all at the same time.
Okay.
See that? And as I said, I'm going to hold this until it either gives me 100 pips profit or it's going to go back and stop me out, and then I've got the long trade kicked in. And at that point, I have a hedge because I'll be like 100 pips difference between the 2 pairs. And then we can get into an exercise of how to hedge and scale out.
Hi. So what happens when you've put a buy stop up there? What happens against the trend line? Because what's the possibility of it not bouncing back towards south?
Your voice fades out again, Nancy, and I'm not sure what that is. You're asking me what happens when you said
because the trend line is not far away from the buy stop. What if price bounces off?
Can someone help me with that? With what she's trying to ask?
Yeah, you need a new microphone, Nancy.
Because as you speak, your voice fades really dramatically.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're talking through a can, tomato soup.
with crushed tomatoes.
Uh-huh.
So the sound really gets bottled up. Now you're saying what happens? Let me try to figure
We're
it out.
taking we're taking a buy stop. You have a buy stop now.
Right there, yes.
Far away from there, we have a trend line that has been running from a few months ago.
Oh, Nancy, I'm really sorry. I just don't. I can't understand. It's the microphone. It's not the accent or anything. It's the
Okay.
microphone that's making it difficult to understand what's going on.
Hey, I think I can hear if you want to try to ask your question.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask the question again, Nancy. Phil said he can hear you.
I'm saying we have a buy stop for Aussie dollar. Then we have a trend line that has been running for a couple of months. What happens to price when it's supposed to take up the buy stop far away from the trend line? Is a probability of price bouncing up?
I missed the very last part, but she's talking about when price comes to the buy stop and something to do with, I think, when price starts going to the trend line.
Yeah,
Right. So you're asking me what would I do?
yeah, because price might bounce off
Oh, it certainly could. It certainly could.
southward. Yeah, southward again.
In the original trade, we went long here with the thought that we would get a bounce at this area.
Okay.
I was looking for the pullback, which is a logical pullback, not dramatic, not off the charts. And then the bias on the trade was short because we had this downward trend line. So that's what this trend line is here for. And I was looking for a bounce in this area. If this gives us the buy stop, then I'll take the 100 pips or 80 pips or whatever it is.
All right.
I could close it. You know what I mean? And then I'd have to
Okay.
take some other trades to make up the difference.
Got you.
All right. But until this, I'm going to stay with this until it either gives me the profit or hits the buy stop. And I end up with a, this is going to be about 140 pip stop or so when it kicks in. So it'll be 14 pips on a standard lot. You got me? And I'll take whatever it gives me. If it gives me up to there, I'll take it. Or if price action indicates that it could go higher, and if it breaks the trend line, then I'll ride it up, until I break even on the original drawdown.
Gotcha.
All right?
Got you.
Because remember, the market doesn't give a damn about my line. I put it there as a point of reference and just to show the overall trend. So that's why this doesn't have a stop. This buy stop becomes my stop loss and my new order entry long. All right. Now in the U.S. we can't hedge, and I haven't hedged in a long time. And even though I have brokers offshore that I can hedge in, I just haven't done it because I didn't want to get too used to it and then get into my U.S. trades and do something dumb. So that's why I don't do it. Somebody's eating back there. I hear that. I don't know who that is, but they're popping away.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to take a look at what the regular charts did today. Next week we're going to go back to scalping, and now we can scalp and do the long term at the same time. You follow me on that, guys? Once we have the long term trade set up, now we can come down here and play a little bit and pick up some of this. This was nice this morning. Couldn't ask for a better setup. Right out of the bat. And then in here we had a nice setup too. On this 1 minute, somewhere up in here on a 1 minute chart, we had a decent entry. Yeah, right in there. Look at that. Right there. Any of these would have given us a nice play this morning. All right, and that's just a pound. Now that we've got the situation kind of sorted out with the daily charts, I'm going to add another pair to the pound to look for trades. All right, so we'll have 2 pairs, maybe 3. Because now, we can bounce back and forward a little bit as long as we keep the focus on those three pairs. And if we see one pair that looks better than the others, then that's the one we'll stay with. Make sense?
Yeah.
But that'll be next week. I want to finish up these long-term trades this week. And tomorrow we'll go into the I'm debating if I should do channels or if I should do the weekly setup. I'll think about that, this afternoon, which way I want to go with that. Okay, so if there aren't any questions, we've got these trades set up, and nothing's going to happen until they kick in. And remember, it could take a few days for some of these to kick in. And we'll come back and check this out tomorrow. All right?
All right.
Okay, the recorder was on. That's good. And thank you for your questions, Nancy. Thank you for your insight, Andre and Daryl. And Rob, thanks for your help again yesterday. Phil, Ron, you've been quiet, Ron. Haven't heard anything from you. Don't know if you're trading or not. And Mike, good to see you as always. All right, we will take this up again tomorrow morning.
Have a nice day.
Yep, you
Are
too.
you ready for the fun fact of the day?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So what's the base of WD-40 that makes it work so well?
The base of WD-40 that makes it work so well. Fish oil.
Yep.
Ta-da! I get the toaster.
Yeah, you get the toasted fish oil. Yep.
So it means it's good for arthritis?
And good to use as Pam to spray on your frying pan.
Yeah, no, don't.
Good for the human joints.
Yeah, right. Get some dimethyl sulfate, DMSO, that'll work. You can apply it directly.
For arthritis?
Yeah.
I missed something there. Okay.
Yeah. It's the applicable version. I mean the topical version of MSM, methyl sulfonol methane.
Oh, okay.
It's all good for joint stuff.
Learned something today. All right, I've got a bunch of texts here too now this morning. Friday, I'm meeting with that guy on Wall Street. They've got a whole thing going on that I think is kind of cool. They want me to come in and be their director of education or whatever. But they also have a side company that they're structuring that will loan you money to trade based on your credit score and all that. They get anywhere from $500 to $500,000 to open a trading account if you open with their broker and blah, blah, blah. You know how that game goes. So I just want to sit and just see how well they have all this stuff put together and take it from there. So, Ron Lou, are we going to continue our trading in 1889 or similar? Yeah, we are going to go back to the scalping, Ron. But I needed a week to go through some of these long-term setups. All right. And now that we've got that, now that you know how to find them, you can just set one up and it may not kick in for 2 or 3 days. Now you can go back to your lower time frame and do your regular day in, day out scalping. And I also have some stuff on the 30-minute that all I can do is show you, because in 30 minutes, we may not get a setup candle in the hour and a half we have together. So I've got some other things, to show you guys also.
Hey,
Right.
Lou, since I'm in the U.S. with FIFO, would I basically need to open a new account and have like a long-term account and a scalping account?
Well, you're set up with Joe Cujano, am I correct?
Yeah.
Well, you can you
Yeah,
can use FIFO.
I have it. Yeah, I have FIFO now, but I'm saying I'm thinking about ultimately switching over to an American broker eventually.
Well, if you want to hedge there, then what you would do is you would have 2 accounts of equal size, and that's how you could hedge. So if you go short euro on one, you go long euro on the other kind of thing,
Okay.
if you get in trouble. You follow me?
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't even bother, because I'm bad enough with one account trying to type the numbers in, as you can see. So imagine me with two accounts and things are moving quick. So that's where the little tools and robots come in handy for me, because I know where I stumble. And with me, it's more physical, mechanical kind of thing, more so than not understanding the charts. So yeah, you would have to have two accounts or open a sub account or something like that. Um, also, I've been watching these RSI dots. I kind of like these. I'm going to continue watching them for a bit more to see if there's a way to build a system out of them and see if they can become a. Oh, this is the New York box. See if they can become something viable that we could use. I try to stay away from special indicators, as you know, but I work with a lot of them that are very good. But you can't get them on all platforms. So this is our New York box here, and this was our buy entry, and there's our profit target number one up there, which isn't out of the realm of possibility. But let me go. I will talk to you guys tomorrow.
Okay, I'll post those trades in a few minutes.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.